take your seats, and we are at item number 15, and I'm going to ask, I don't need to ask, Warwick and Marguerite are both at the table. Could I get, who's going to lead this, Marguerite? If I can get you to speak briefly to the paper, please.
Mr. Mayor and councillors, what you have in front of you is a draft submission to a proposal by the Remuneration Authority. It is a proposal on councillor remuneration. We circulated this proposal to local boards, and they made comments and submissions that will be forwarded to the Remuneration Authority as is. The submission that we are talking about today is your submission as the governing body. We have answered the different questions that the Remuneration Authority was asking, and I'm not going to go through each of the points now, but if you have questions on specific aspects, we can answer them on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you very much, Marguerite. I'll move the motion. Do I have a seconder, please? Yes. Councillor Clough, thank you very much. We'll open it first of all to questions. Feedback I've got from most councillors that they think that the Remuneration Authority's submission is bonkers, but exactly. I think that's a technical term. But any questions to Marguerite? Councillor Cooper.
Oh no, it was not a question. I was just going to, seeing it's on the table, that means it's open for discussion, or are you directing just questions?
I'll just do questions first, if I may, please.
Fine, if I can just go on the list for the speaking, thank you.
If there are no questions, I'll move straight into comments. And so we'll invite you, Councillor Cooper, to take the call.
Yeah, I think the fundamental thing that's wrong in the Remuneration Authority's proposals is the fact that we should be deciding our own remuneration. I think we get enough flack as it is every year, for a 1% rise. I really don't want to be in that position. I think it's an invidious position. Also, just our comments around the fact that, we can only really be compared to a backbencher, I guess, who get $175,000, and I'm not proposing that. But we get no benefits, basically a cardboard box, get your stuff out of here when you're finished, no lifetime perks, no other benefits. I think, we really seriously have to look at the remuneration, and given that we are the largest council in the Southern Hemisphere, I think we've really got to look at this a lot more seriously. But also, I think just from something that Marguerite talked to us about yesterday at the local board chairs forum around treating us separately from other councils, I just asked that the very good work the local boards did on the submission, on their feedback, not be lost if it is taken separately, if we looked at it as a different entity. But on the other hand, my concern is that every time we looked at separately, I don't want us to remain separate forever. We really need to seriously look at the legislation that we operate, under which we operate, because it does keep us separate, and I don't think that's good going forward, especially when we're part of our GNZ, and we've got to have an understanding right throughout the country of local board roles, and also not to be so separate that we can't make our own decisions as other local councils can, or unitary councils can. That's all I have to say, but I do support the submission.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I think we're probably of one mind on this. The last thing we need to do is set our own conditions. The public wouldn't approve of it, and you'd have massive divisions between boards and governing body. I think we probably don't need a lot more discussion on this. I think our officials have got it absolutely right. So if there's no further comment, I will put the recommendations A, B and C. I've put them already. I've moved them. They've been seconded. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, no. Carried. The next item is on our agenda here, but will be subject to discussion in confidential session. The recommendation is simply to note the contents of the report.
I'll move.
I presume that you've moved it?
Yes.
I'll second.
And seconded. Are there any questions? Are there any comments? If not, I shall put the recommendation that we note the contents. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, no. Carried. Item number 17 is to receive a summary of governing body information, memos and briefings to the 23rd of November.
Also move.
It's been moved and I'll second that. All those in favour, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Carried. Item number 18, consideration of extraordinary items. There are none. I now move the recommendation that Council move into confidential session.
I'll second that.
It's been seconded by Councillor Simpson. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, no. Carried. And we'll just wait till Mr Wilson picks up his gear and goes home.